Let me start by saying good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to speak to the public today following the tragic gun violence that took place in several neighborhoods over the long weekend that just ended. 13 people were shot Philadelphia over the weekend in 7 separate incidents across the city. 2 individuals have died, including a 17-year-old woman. Of the 13 shooting victims this weekend, 7 are juveniles. These incidents included the triple shooting that took place Saturday afternoon at Finley Recreation Center, where 3 young people were shot. One currently is in critical condition at CHOP. The other 2 youth, they were treated, and right now we've been informed that they are stable. It also includes a fatal shooting Friday night in Southwest Philadelphia, where a 17-year-old young woman was shot and killed near 70th and Elmwood Streets. As I have said before, every shooting and homicide in Philadelphia personally pains me as mayor of this city and each and every member of the Parker administration and our stakeholders like Councilmember Curtis Jones, Council President Kenyatta Johnson, all members of council, all of us who work hard to represent this great city. Why? Because every homicide victim was somebody's son, or brother, or father, or uncle, or daughter, sister, mother, or aunt. These are human beings we are talking about, and not statistics. And we grieve their loss and their suffering. It should not have to be this way in our city. People should not have to live this way. And now, I was talking with someone earlier today, Police Commissioner Bethel and Public Safety Director Gear, and they were talking about some of the progress that we've been making on public safety as a city, despite this weekend's gun violence. And while the stats are the stats in that homicides were down 37% last year and shooting victims were down 36%. You know, one more statistic just to give this a little perspective. In 2023, homicides year to date, March 30th, we were at 105. In 2024, homicides year to date were 69. And this year to date so far, they're at 50. I share those numbers with you because as someone communicated it to me earlier, they did not see me consoled by those numbers at all, and they are real, but it doesn't matter when we lose life to senseless gun violence here in the city. I do want to thank our police commissioner, Bethel, all of the members of our Philadelphia Police Department for the fine job that they do, the work of our Chief Public Safety Director, Adam Gear, and his laser focus and emphasis on that PI, prevention, intervention, and enforcement, as we call it, with a seamless partnership between our police commissioner and our public safety director. But this is our reality. We cannot and will not rest, and I won't as mayor, until every resident in every neighborhood feels safe in their homes, going to school, or walking in their community, because you can have stats and data, but it doesn't mean a thing if you don't feel good walking to the supermarket, or driving to the supermarket, or going to the cleaners, or even sitting on your steps, or going to the neighborhood recreation center. For the young people, we have to give them more opportunity for constructive and positive paths and things to do, particularly as the weather starts warming up as it did this past weekend. On Wednesday, we'll be right back in this room with Commissioner Slauson. Thank you, Commissioner, for being here. Chief Deputy Mayor Vanessa Garrett Harley, and many others involved in creating some of jobs and other opportunities for our young people. And we will have a lot more to say about these opportunities then. You're going to hear us talk about our city college for municipal employment opportunities, and a lot of these things, Councilmember Jones, they were included in your blueprint for a safer Philadelphia. All of these things represent opportunities for a good pathway into a good paying city job. That's at our CCME. You're also going to hear me talk about the 211 hotline. Philadelphia, sometimes I think we forget about the 211 hotline that people can call to find all kinds of programs that their children and their families and neighbors can access. Public Safety Director Gear, he actually supervises, his shop oversees that 211 hotline. And we do have a lot of work to do, but I want to be clear. There is absolutely no excuse, none whatsoever, that should be a reason or rationale or a logic for anyone to make a direct connection between any kind of activity being available and your willingness to take a life. You can't equate the two. While we have to make sure that these opportunities are available, and we can and we will and we do, none of this is an excuse to engage in senseless gun violence. We want to say that the work we are doing is comprehensive. Our police department, our Office of Public Safety, the Recreation Department, and our faith partners who are present here on today, all of us have to work together in order to make the city safer. And I do want to state for the record that right now, spiritual leaders in our Muslim community are actually right now in a very holy time. They're in the midst of celebration right now, and that's why they are not here with us at different locations across the city. But people, leadership, our spiritual leaders from all faiths coming together, because government can't do it alone, faith-based leaders can't do it alone, community can't do it alone. This is what the One Philly, a united city, looks like. And I implore you, City of Philadelphia, to let's come together to make sure we're using every resource that is available, and quite frankly, sharing access to this information with Philadelphians from all walks of life. I now want to turn this over to our police commissioner, Kevin Bethel.
So I thank you, Mayor, and I just want to thank you for your leadership. I mean, I think oftentimes people think that these, as the mayor says, all these lives matter. From the time we arrived on last year, whether it was our kids being shot out in Southwest Philadelphia, our kids being shot up at their schools, and even at Dilworth Plaza, not last year when we had a shooting outside, the mayor has made it very clear that the juvenile violence and violence across the city matters, and that's why we're here today. And so I know the mayor kind of went through all of the incidents that we had. As you indicated, we did have 13 shooting victims over the weekend. 2 were fatal. The second fatality was a murder-suicide, a tragic event with an elderly couple. And Frank, Commissioner Benor is here if you have any more detail around some of the issues. I just want to make sure we all understand our why. Part of our work is to make sure that our young people in particular are safe in our communities. Today, the juvenile violence represents about 12% of all of our violence across the city. However, I mean, most recently when we had the shooting at the rec center, people automatically say, what do the rec centers look like? A little over 3% of all of our incidences, shooting incidences within 100 feet occur at our rec centers. Our rec centers are some of the safest places you can go. Commissioner Slauson is over here to my right. I know it got warm over the weekend, but we worked diligently to get prepared for the summer months as activity increases around our spaces. But I want to continue to let everyone know that the work that our rec center does, the work on the leadership of Commissioner Slauson does, we are engaged and be able to effectively do that. And so we're going to continue to push forward. I know the mayor talked about stats, but it's just important that you understand that the number of kids, if you see last year, we reduced the number of young people under the 18 who were killed by 38%. And we're on a 50% trajectory this year. We are moving in the right direction. And part of what the mayor, when she brings us here today, is say we're going to keep our foot on the gas. I think we talk about it. We don't have a brake pad.
That's right.
Last time I looked down, there is no brake pad.
That's right.
If we want to continue the reductions we've seen over the last 2 years and going to this year, and we're down in our homicides again this year already, we're not going to do it if we sit on our heels and not do the work. And so what the mayor is charging all of us to do, and charged me since the day I walked in the door, get to work. Make sure we're out here working. And so I'm just honored to be a part of this administration, but more importantly, expanding the tent and making sure that the work that we're doing out here in the field is not done by policing alone. It's by many of the men and women who are up here, my partners here, and Councilman Jones and Adam Gear, and all of those, and those out there who are listening to our voices, who are touching young people each and every day, changing the trajectory of their lives. It is working. And so we just got to keep pressing. My team will keep pressing. We've made a lot of leads on many of the incidents that have happened most recently, and we can talk about those specifically if you have more core questions. So I'll stop there and pass it back to the mayor.
Thank you. Director Adam Gear.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I repeat, there are no brakes on this car.
That's right.
I repeat, there are no brakes on this car. And on top of that, right, we got folks jumping into the car, folks who've been in the car. We're riding this car without brakes towards what we know we can achieve as a city. We know we can do this. There are challenges. We know that this is a challenge. We're not intimidated by this challenge. We're not intimidated by what's ahead of us. I just want to start by reemphasizing that we are here to do the work. We are here to partner with who we need to partner with. We are here to get the job done. For our young folks, for our communities, we are here. All right, you hear a lot of us when we got up here talking about the warm weather. I think the mayor mentioned the warm weather. The commissioner mentioned the warm weather. All of us in this room know what it means for warm weather. I hate when the weather gets warm. And for those folks who do violence prevention work, you know why I hate when the weather gets warm. I look at my app, I see what's the weather on Friday and Saturday. Warm and sunny, hate it. Because I know that the reality of it is some young folks are going to come out and they might get into some stuff, right? When we were at Finley, when I went down to the scene, by the time I'd gotten there, which was a couple hours after the shooting, the police department had done a tremendous job of clearing the scene. There were children back at play, just feet away from where the shooting had occurred. And then there were chalk markers, about 17 of them, on the gravel there. We cannot normalize. We cannot normalize that. We cannot accept that. And thanks to Commissioner Slauson, they removed those chalk markers immediately. But we will not normalize that. I want to again elevate 211. Call 211. Conflict intervention, youth violence prevention, peer counseling, neighborhood crisis mediation services, behavioral health and crisis support services, workforce development, job training, after-school programming. Thanks to a lot of the work of Councilman Jones for lifting up 211. Call it. When in doubt, call it. You can also call our victim advocate, 686-2115. We are here to help in whatever way we can. As the mayor indicated, as the commissioner indicated, we refuse to give up. And when you do this work, sometimes you get into your silos and you start thinking about what am I doing on a day-to-day basis. But today, I'm feeling better than I was because I'm standing here looking at you, looking at my partners, standing here with the mayor, with the commissioner, with all of these folks with faith, and I have faith. So let's get back to work.
Councilmember Curtis Jones, Chair of Public Safety, City Council.
So first and foremost, I'm an optimist. I can't help myself. On the good side of things, about 3 years ago, there was 300 rounds shot at Shepherd Recreation. Last week, we put $14 million into that center, creating all kinds of activities for young people. I'm an optimist. I know that even though it is Ramadan, well, it's the Eid, and it's Ramadan Eid Mubarak to many, that shot that happened didn't kill anyone. That's a mercy. And what I would say is there's a lot of good things that 4 years ago, Madam Mayor, all of these people in this room, this coalition you pulled together, wouldn't have been able to breathe the same air. We're moving in the right direction. Maybe not fast enough, but we're getting there. And I want to say this to my faith-based partners, that we have to get out of our comfort zone. Some of us already are, but we have to get out of our comfort zone. You got to talk to Barabbas and Hamza, not just the acolytes and the choir boys. You got to, when you convert them, you save many of us. And they're the hardest to convert, but once you do and put in that work, it's a lifetime's worth of work. And I'm saying to you that we have to spend a little more time with the young men and women, more so than ever, and get into their heads and ask them, why? What can we do? We have all of these programs. You got to make a choice every day you get up to do the right thing. And I'm just thankful, Madam Mayor, that you are prioritizing this to a level that I've never seen before. So it's not by chance that we're reducing the numbers, it's by our work that the numbers are being reduced.
Thank you, thank you. Let me say this, Councilmember Jones, you and Director Gear and Commissioner Bethel, and Commissioner Bethel, every time I hear you talk about our young people, I remember our first conversation when you shared your passion about young people from your school district experience. Director Gear, you talked about seeing the children continue to play outside, but they were a few feet from chalk lines. And Councilmember Jones, you talked about those shots, but that you were just at a multi-million-dollar, was it a ribbon cutting?
Yes, it's a
Groundbreaking for Shepherd. It is because of the young people that I am unapologetic, Philadelphia, about continuing to affirm to you that I will continue to make the public safety and health of Philadelphia my #1 priority, and all of the stakeholders and partners that you see here on today, we share those sentiments. We will, what did you say, Director Gear? Not normalize it. We will do everything that we possibly can, and Commissioner Bethel, I'm thinking about our officers who are proactively engaged in this area that folks criticize me a great deal about because I publicly supported it. I supported it then, and I continue to support it now. That's community policing. Having officers walk the beat, ride the bike, getting to know the people that they are sworn to protect and serve, strengthening and building those relationships, while making sure that grandmothers, like the one who said to me out at a community gathering, I don't know what it is, but I know my grandson is involved in some activity that he should not be engaged with, and he needs some help. What can I do? She doesn't want to call 911 on her grandson. But guess what I was able to say, Director Gear? Call 211. You want mentoring, you need conflict resolution, you need counseling, you need therapy, mental and behavioral health supports, you need access to trauma supports and services. Whatever the support is that you need access to, no one in Philadelphia can say that you don't know how to access it, because we have one point of entry, and it's called 211. Now, Commissioner Bethel, he has a group of community engagement officers who are out in the field. Public Safety Director Gear, you do. I know the work we do, and because I'm looking at you, Pastor Herndon from Christian Compassion, and Pastor Terry, the work we do down at Christian Compassion to connect people to supports and services. Council members Bass and Young, Commissioner Slauson, all of the work that we do. There are supports and services that are readily available to you. We just need for you to take advantage of them. I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege, and I'm going to ask Pastor Herndon to come up and say a few words, because we host one of our neighborhood community action centers with the Christian Compassion CDC, and just want you to share, if you will, Pastor Herndon, this moment and the importance of us coming together as a city to address it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm so grateful to be here to stand with your team, in which we're humbled to partner with. And I want to say that the work is working. The vision is coming to pass, and I'm excited to hear, because the numbers are true. We do see a decline in those being incarcerated, those losing lives, and it's because of your great vision and the great partners that are here today, and we continue to vow to work with you to see those numbers decrease. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. We want to take some questions from you now. Joe?
Questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what do you want specifically? I mean, we had a juvenile who was shot in the hand, yes. So we had an Id celebration at the Lear Courts. It was going very well. And then at some point, there was a break in the festivities were over. We had a group of juveniles who surged into the area. As you know, and you've covered multiple times, Broughton C.B. Moore is kind of an epicenter for our juveniles to meet. During that occurrence, we had a large group of kids. Shots were fired. This young man was shot in his hand. He's doing very well. We have good video. We're going through that video now, and we're continuing to proceed with that investigation.
And then can you talk about some of the arrests that were made during that response?
Yes, we had a number of arrests during that response. I think I have it, unless you have it, Frank. I'll let Frank jump in there. I think he has it. Here we go. So for the total of arrests, we had 2 individuals arrested for firearms, 2 assaults on police, 3 adult disorderly conducts, and 7 juveniles who were arrested for disorderly conduct.
It was clearly a chaotic scene when officers arrived. I'm sure there already was a active duty event. There are videos circulating on social media. There's one that's showing responding officers using tasers to some of the women that were out there for this event. And there's another one where officers could be arresting someone who's on the ground. Again, this is a snippet that we're seeing. They're circulating with a lot of negative.
Well, listen, I mean, there's circulation. I mean, arresting people is not pretty, right? People just don't turn around and say, put their hands behind their backs. And so sometimes what you see is that in that encounter with officers, to be able to bring someone under control. Our tasers are part of our use of force continuum. So the officers have to have justification to use the tasers, and those are reported as well. And so I would encourage anyone, we look at video in snippets, but they don't see the officer being punched in the face, or they don't show some of the other activity. I'm not saying I'm defending it without knowing all the totalities of the facts, but I would encourage the public, if anyone felt that our force was excessive, that they can file a complaint. The officers are wearing body-worn cameras and other activities, so we can be able to determine if that appropriate force was used in that time period. But consistently, I will tell you, it's very challenging when you have to make an arrest and folks do not want to get arrested. And so you're going to use enough force to be able to take that person under control, but oftentimes it does not look pretty.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me also, and thank you for affirming, because that social media piece is extremely important. I hadn't seen it, and someone sent me, and again, I know just based on the experience of being here and having to get briefed and understand what the totality of the circumstances are. Someone sent me footage of someone actually being patted down, and the officer goes into the gentleman's jacket, and I wouldn't have known from the human eye. I wouldn't have known from the human eye because the person looked almost as thin as I was. So you all saw it. Oh, okay. Because I'm, what are you patting for? The next thing I know, they pull out something that looks like it's ready for war. This was it. And so the person who was calling me and saying to me, look at what I just sent to you, they were saying, thank you, that the police department had actually confiscated the weapon because I wasn't there, so I didn't know how many people were gathered at the location where the weapon was actually recovered. It could have been much worse, Council Member Jones. Also, and this has just come to mind, I don't know how many of you saw this video. We posted a video on social media showing someone had dumped 4,000 tires in the Tacony Creek Park. Now, you know, this had to be a very well organized activity. They had to know the route to get in because there are cameras there, right? They had to know the route to get in. They had to be able to back the truck up, dump the tires down. But I was encouraged, and I think we wrote in that post, you know, we will find you and we will not be deterred. We are going to stay focused on making our city the safest, cleanest, greenest big city in the nation with access to economic opportunity for all. And I believe that we can do it because of the indomitable power of the human spirit of Philadelphians. We won't allow this to have us hostage in our own cities where we won't move around and we won't engage in activities at our beautiful rec centers and other outdoor activities. We won't. Our law enforcement, our police department, Commissioner Bethel, you've heard me say it over and over again, and I want to continue to affirm it to the public. I wholeheartedly support the men and women who protect and serve our city, although I will have zero tolerance for any misuse and or abuse of authority. And Commissioner, I remember the first time I said that, people act like I had to make a choice. You either could support the police department, but what are you going to do about criminal justice reform? No, it's both and. We can have both at the same time, and quite frankly, that's what we've been having in the city of Philadelphia, and I don't apologize about that, Commissioner, not at all. So Philadelphia, we are not giving up. We won't give up, and there are no laurels for us to rest on. We're going to continue working hard, using our comprehensive approach, prevention, intervention, and enforcement, because we do understand that we can't police our way out of the challenges that we're facing. No, that's why we're trying to build and preserve 30,000 units of housing in the city of Philadelphia, support extended day, extended year, and the City College for Municipal Employment. That's why that menu of options and what's available. Gear, how many organizations funded through the community anti-violence?
There's going to be about 120.
120 neighborhood, grassroots, community-based organizations who, quite frankly, I believe are really at the foundation of the reduction that we're seeing now. Them alone? No. All of us working together. Proactive approach. But we can't, shy away from the fact that we will do everything that we possibly can to keep the people of the city of Philadelphia safe. Any additional questions? Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. Thank you.